What is going on, my friends? Fox here, FXRC, and this is part 2 of my Traxxas E-Revo 2.0. Just as kind of everything that I guess wanted to address, not necessarily weaknesses or just, I kind of wanted to just get this up to be a super reliable rig. So this is kind of all of the upgrades I thought to kind of get it to be there, I guess. Maybe not all of it necessary, but for the most part, none of it was like just bling yet, This is all just stuff that I thought would really somehow help the performance, maybe in a way, I guess, somewhat. But who knows? Anyway, it's definitely looking pretty nice. I mean, look at that truck. Pretty nice. And even though I have done quite a few things, I guess, at this point, I'm not that far off from the stock weight. From the stock weight, it's saying 11 pounds. So, and I got it right now at 11 pounds, 14 ounces. So, it's not that far off, added the weight and all, but anyway, it's definitely coming out pretty nice. We got all kinds of, if you can see the belly there, it's all kinds of. I'll get you in and we'll get a nice closer look here and get you over it, and you can see it a lot better. So let's get into it. All right, so you definitely got a better view now. You can kind of see, and this is I'm just going to touch on the stuff that I've done this time. I will kind of go over some of the other stuff that I did cover in the part 1 of my Traxxas E-Revo build. If you want to go back, check out that video, and I just kind of go into more detail on, the electronics and everything that I chose, because this did start its life out as a roller. And then I just chose my own electronics and so on. So, and a couple other things. So, definitely go back, check out that video if you want to see all of that stuff. So now we get into this. You gotta love these bodies, especially when it comes time to working on them and stuff like that. The whole clipless body mounting system is, I mean, it has its flaws too, don't get me wrong, the whole popping off and stuff like that. But as far as just using it and stuff, it is pretty handy. So, and Traxxas makes nice looking bodies. They really do. I mean, look at that. That's a nice looking body. So it's actually, the orange is a lot more orange in person than it shows up on camera, a lot more fluorescent. It's kind of dulled out in the camera there. So anyway, nice looking body. And then look at that, such a awesome design, these E-Revos with the whole cantilever shock system. It's definitely a very unique and a Traxxas kind of design. It's very nice looking and very kind of cool looking little setup. So probably not the easiest for actually working on some of the stuff. It's kind of a pain in the butt, honestly, to getting into like the center diff and all that stuff. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's doable anyway. So real quick, electronics, I did got a Hobby Wing Max 6 and I got a Hobby Wing 2200 kV motor. It should be more than enough for this truck. It's still it's pretty light, so this should be a pretty good little system. I might still end up putting a fan on this, but I don't right now. I got a couple of these MKS servos. These are crazy. I want to say they're like 500 pounds, ounce inches of torque or something like that each. They're really Very nice. I haven't had I can't really speak on the durability because these are the first ones I've ever had, so I'll have to let you know on how well they work out. But on paper they seem like they're really nice little servo. So, and for the price point too, I want to say they're about $100 a piece, and they look absolutely stunning there with that whole beautiful shiny all aluminum. Very nice. Let's see, you know, I got the limiter straps, and I think I covered that in the first, as well as the whole rear bracing here. I covered that all in the first video, but I have since then went ahead and I got these aluminum. These are where your actual shock mounts are all aluminum now, and these are hot racing. And I have it also in the rear. It's a little hard to see in there, but there is an actual aluminum shock mount in the rear there, and those are actually meant for the E-Revo, the first generation brushless E-Revo, but they still actually fit on this. The only difference that I could really tell was the rear ones are not notched out for the motor, but with this 2200 kV motor, it doesn't come close enough to that. I really wasn't concerned, but you can actually get some from like GPM that are specifically meant for the 2.0, and that has that notch. But like I said, because the motor wasn't anywhere near it, I really wasn't worried about it, and I can notch it out myself, I guess, if I really needed to. And these hot racing ones were actually significantly cheaper. I want to say maybe like $10 a piece or something like that. They were really cheap, and it's kind of hard to tell like what parts of the original E-Revo will fit onto the 2.0, you know, because some of that's kind of trial and error for me too, because I really wasn't sure. It doesn't really specify that it will fit on the 2.0, you know, like the bulkheads and stuff like that. Like I don't know. They make bulkheads for the E-Revo, the original one, and then there's some for the 2.0, but I don't know like what's goes, you know. I know that there's some parts I did end up doing the center drive shaft on this, and it's very specific to the E-Revo 2.0. The drive shaft for the original E-Revo is a little bit longer, so and you can't really see it in there, but I will get you guys a shot of them, and you can kind of see a little bit the aluminum drive shafts in there. And those are made by Traxxas. They're not cheap, but they're really the only alternative that you can get or at least a really good one, for the actual metal center drive shaft to get rid of that plastic. As you can see, I have the aluminum hot racing skid plates in the front and in the rear, and then I have the Integy skid plate in the middle there, all aluminum. My plan, or what I originally wanted, was to have all three of these be hot racing, but I've been waiting for the hot racing to come into the stock on the middle one, and it just hasn't. I couldn't wait anymore, so I went with the Integy. It seemed like kind of like the second best choice, I guess, and because I went silver here, I kind of wanted to get some more silver, so I went silver on the guards here also, and these are actually made by GPM. Hot Racing also makes some for these, for the sides here, I believe, that are blue, but I couldn't find them in stock once again, so what are you gonna do, I guess. And then I also had these servo horns here, aluminum servo horns, and these are also made by GPM, so you can see that all looks very nice in there, all nice and shiny. And you can also see in here that I had the whole steering assembly is all aluminum, and it's all done by Hot Racing. Now that one piece actually bolts on to another tiny little piece of plastic goes underneath that one that this whole assembly goes onto, and that's a plastic piece. I upgraded that also with an aluminum one by GPM. Is the only person actually that I saw that actually made that part. And then there's actually another part right here, this bar right there, that's a usually plastic, and it says your shock mount. I want to say it's your shock pin mounts for your upper shock pins, or for your rear shock pins here. They're kind of what push up against your rear shock pins, and that's usually plastic. And I replaced that with a Hot Racing. This is all now Hot Racing, so that's a good little brace to have all aluminum now. So it's nice. And I would get you guys all the part numbers in the end. so that you can see. So I know one of the big, I guess I want to say the weak parts for the E-Revo 2.0s were always these rear toe links here. Always because of they have the pivot balls that it puts a lot of pressure and you end up breaking these. But I think Traxxas must have addressed some of that issue, because the rod ends on the E-Revo 2.0 are pretty substantial on the stock. Because even on these you can see here, even on these shock push rods here, those rod ends are pretty substantial. You can see there, you can see right there. Now I do have these are the aftermarket Traxxas ones, the 7075 with the upgraded. Now these rod ends are crazy substantial. Like, these are some really serious rod ends on that you get with these, and these are also specific for the E-Revo 2.0. If you get the ones that are for the regular E-Revo, then they're not anywhere near as bulky on the rod ends. So and they're like half the price. These ones are like 40 bucks and the other ones are like 20 bucks. So you definitely want the ones with the much more substantial rod ends. And then I also have them here in the front, as you can see. You know, and really I think oh yes, so I also went ahead and got the Integy on the old cantilever system here. Is now all aluminum and Integy. You can see on there, and those look really, really nice. Integy makes pretty good parts. They're not too bad. So, and nice looking blue, and it matches the other blue really nicely. So, and that's just gonna, I mean, they can't hurt to have those be aluminum with all that pressure. Although the plastic ones that were on this were also pretty substantial. I don't necessarily see them being much of a problem. I'm a little worried now that with the aluminum mount, and then I have the aluminum on the cantilever system here, it's probably going to be putting a lot of pressure on the rod ends as well as the shock caps. Luckily I do have the limiter straps, so that should save a little bit. I haven't been able to find aluminum shock caps for these. I can find aluminum rod ends, so that's not a big deal, but I'm gonna see how these ones hold up anyway. So like I said, I think I got it to a pretty good place right now where should be pretty rugged and reliable when I take it out. So I can't wait for winter to be over and I can finally get out and start really bashing again. I don't know if you can see in there, but I do have all of the hubs here, the steering or the rear hubs and all that are all aluminum. You can't really kind of see them in there, but they are all aluminum. Very, very nice. This E-Revo is definitely coming out really, really nice. And like I said, I mean, for the most part, I kind of just tried to address anything that I thought might have been, you know, not necessarily a weak point, but just trying to make this thing as super reliable as possible. So there's so other, you know, like you can do like the aluminum body mounts and stuff like that, but I don't really see the point of doing that because they're not shock mounts, they're just body mounts. And I think having some flex on these is actually going to be a really, really good thing, just to, rather than be hard aluminum there. It just doesn't make much sense to me. You know, and like I said, besides that, I think there's like some aluminum bulkheads you can get for these, but and RPM makes some bumpers I might get. You know, like the T-Bone racing ones are too much. I don't really like them for the E-Revo, which is too bad. I like them for Arma, but I just didn't really care for them for the E-Revo. And I have they already have the skid plate on this, so I might just get the RPM bumpers and stuff. I don't know how well these hold up or not, if they're good or not good. So anyway, like I said, I think should be just about there. I cannot wait to get this thing out and in the dirt. Alright guys, that's part 2 of my Traxxas E-Revo 2.0. This thing is definitely coming out pretty sweet, I gotta say. I mean, come on, just look at that thing. Looks absolutely amazing. I have super high hopes for this to be just an amazing performer. maybe some ideas on what maybe I should put this up against. A good head-to-head comparison, maybe something. You know, because I was thinking the obvious would be the Arma Kraton. That's the V4. Obviously, super modded out. But at this point, so is the E-Revo. They have about the same wheelbase. You know, I want to say the E-Revo is just shy of 15, and the Kraton I think is just a little bit more than a 15-inch wheelbase. So they're pretty close in wheelbase, and the E-Revo is about, I want to say, about a pound lighter than the Kraton, which actually is kind of a benefit too, you know, to be a little bit lighter in the bashing game anyway. So I feel like that would be a good competitor, but I don't know, maybe the Outcast, the fully loaded modded out Outcast maybe would be a good comparison, but I'm really thinking maybe the Kraton, or how about even the Kraton EXB. That's a little bit even heavier than my V4 actually, because I got some carbon fiber on the V4 to lighten it up a little bit. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. What would you like to see this sick ass E-Revo 2.0 go up against? Like I said, I think the Kraton, the V4 Kraton would be a good head-to-head competitor. So. But I'm really thinking that this E-Revo should hold its own, so we will see, I guess. I cannot wait, like I said, for winter to be over so I can get out and really start bashing these things for you guys, get you guys some awesome footage. So once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you have watched this long so far, I have to say thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button and definitely subscribe. Shoot me a comment. I love reading you guys' comments. I try to answer every single one that I can. I will go ahead and get you guys all of the part numbers that I have. So maybe help you out if it can, it can. And if not, oh well. Like I said, thank you so much for watching. Keep an eye out for the running video, and like I said, a nice good little head-to-head comparison with probably the Kraton V4. So, but let me know what you think. Anyway, thank you so much. Bye. And here are the Traxxas parts. This would be the part number for the toe links. This would be the center drive shaft. Let's see, I got the Integy parts here. This should be the part numbers. That's for the center skid right there. These are for the rocker arms for the shocks, as well as the other rocker arms. These are the hot racing shock mounts, as well as the suspension pin mount. All the GPM parts, they don't come with their part numbers on them and stuff. They just come in regular bags, so you're gonna have to look those up yourself.